Excellent. And we are live. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to a very special edition of Off the Record on the People's Podcast this evening. We have a magnificent guest with us tonight, one who is going to give us some amazing information as well as inspiration, and that is none other than Sister Aisha Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum, ma'am.
Wa alaikum salam.
Yes, ma'am. And Sister Aisha, we want to thank you on behalf of myself, family, and the viewing audience of the People's Podcast for taking time out of your busy schedule to come have a conversation with us. We have been anxiously awaiting this interview because many of the couples and guests that I have on always talk about keys to successful marriage, rearing children, and you are an example of both, as well as just being a pioneer to our nation. So we want to make sure that we thank you. So we want to thank you for that. So Aisha, for those who don't know, we have known each other for quite some time because you watched me and my siblings grow up in Chicago. And I wanted to ask you, what was it like being a student at Muhammad University of Islam?
Being a student at Muhammad University of Islam, where do I begin? Well, I mean, it's different. It's special, especially like in the 90s. It was very different than it is now. Like, for example, like being a Muslim now is a little bit cooler than it was then.
Okay.
Like we would, if you were catching the bus or whatever, your uniform, everybody looking at you like, what are y'all into? Type of deal. But it was still fun. We had a lot of fun. I met a lot of friends there that I have to this day. So it was a very good experience overall.
Yes, ma'am. Are we going to stay right there at Muhammad University for a moment? My sister, so Sister Miriam says, Assalamu alaikum, family. Brother Nelson Ramos out of Massachusetts says, Assalamu alaikum, beloved people of God. Walaikum salam, Sister Miriam, as well as Brother Nelson Ramos. And thank you all who are watching all over the world. And Maz says, ASA, Sister Aisha.
My favorite. Hey, Maz.
I hope that Brother Maz knows it's rude not to give everybody the greetings on the panel for the record. Okay, so listen. Okay, so you said uniforms. What type of uniforms did you wear when you were at Miami University?
Oh my God. Okay, so me and a friend were just talking about that the other day, like how far the uniform has come. Like it's cute now. When we were there, we had like these culottes, this vest. We had a fez. What other kind of uniform? We ended up we got in high school, we got like a jacket that had like a flap on it. It was different. It was really different, but the uniforms they have are much, much cuter.
Okay, yes, ma'am. So you are walking around with culottes and vests. We look forward to seeing those pictures and those yearbooks.
Don't forget the fez. Don't forget the fez.
The fez. Oh, I gotta see the full. We want to see the full outfit. And how are you doing, Prince Maz, who was watching? Thank you, saying Uncle Josh. Thank you very much. Okay, now Sister Aisha, what was it like for you to accept the teachings of Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad at such a young age?
Well, honestly, it was just like, it was pretty easy because when you're a student there, I think you have a different understanding than someone that might just come in off the street. Like, it's kind of like, because we were reared in it, it's like, it wasn't really a question for us. We believe in Master Muhammad, so that was like the next step. It was kind of more of a formality.
Okay, praise be to Allah. Yes, ma'am. All right. And then Sister Miriam says, don't act like I don't remember those uniforms. These are a different uniform. These are the Mother Claire school of Mother Claire. Or I'm used to Muhammad University of Islam. When I was Listen, all right. So I also wanted to know, being recently, let's go straight to this. We posted love and sent love to you on Facebook and social media, just about you being a survivor of so many things. What advice would you give to those who battle, health challenges?
Honestly, I would say stay prayerful, because sometimes it can get so bad where you kind of like, I can't believe this is happening to me. You start questioning things. But I think it's important to be grateful, be humble, and stay prayerful because I've been through a lot health-wise. And on paper, I shouldn't be fine, but I am, thanks to prayers and friends and family, just being prayerful and positive and grateful.
Beautiful. Praise be to Allah. Yes, ma'am. Now, I was speaking to someone earlier about how growing up in Chicago, we would get a chance to see the minister quite often at the schools and things of this nature. But you were very close with, his family, and would always, I'm sure, got to see him a lot. What was it like to have access to the minister, at such a young age?
It was different because now, well, it's so different because the nation is so much bigger than it was when we were growing up. Like we would have this day in the gym. You know what I mean? So different. Like the minister, I was blessed to have him speak at both of my graduations, 8th grade and high school.
Okay.
And he would actually come to the school and things like that when we were younger. So that was actually very special to grow up in the 90s because the minister was so accessible.
Look at you giving us some history. See, okay, I didn't get the minister speaking of my graduation. That's all I'm saying. You get some.
Yeah, he spoke at both of ours.
Praise be to Allah. Mimi says, we thank you. We thank Allah that you are well, sis. And Brother Elijah says, all praise to Allah. This is Brother Elijah's first time watching, probably like 3 years. Thank you, Brother Elijah, for watching. It's Elijah Mo for the record. Okay, boom. Excellent. So now, what? I'm saying he went to school with you. That's your time period too, right? That's why he's watching.
Yes, it is.
Thank you very much. Okay. Now let's get into being married at a young age. What was that like?
Oh my God. So that was real different. Like I got married when I was 19. And it was a trial because we were both so young. We were trying not to get it wrong, I think, more so than anything. We had a son. So that was definitely different. It was like we were at the hospital and it was time for us to go home. And it was like we looked at each other like they really finna let us take this baby home. Like, do they know? Do they just, so it was real different. But over the last 25 years, I feel like we've both grown up together, and our marriage has gotten stronger over time. Like I said, the older we got, we had more children. I think we were just very blessed to actually meet each other at a young age because it was innocent. Like when you get married older, not knocking it, but when you get married older, it's like it's more baggage. We were so young. Our debt is our debt, our, whatever. So I think for us, it worked out really well.
Praise be to Allah. Shout out to Uncle Ronnie and shout out to you all for being an example of being for anybody who's watching, who's never seen the first interview I did with her and her husband, you should watch it. You want to see the Huxtables live and in living color, you should watch that interview. They're a great example. Okay, now let's talk about, I often ask the guests about advice for rearing children. 7 children, these are like scholars, role models, all get their own personalities, just brilliant children. What advice would you give to future parents in rearing children?
The main thing I would say is to enjoy it. I'm saying that because my oldest son will be 26 this year. And it seems like it was yesterday when we brought him home. And like childhood is so short. So I would say as a parent to enjoy it. They have the rest of their lives to be an adult. That first 18 to 25 years is very critical in establishing trust and good communication. And it's also fun. Don't look at your children as a burden. I would say truly enjoy it, especially when you're younger, because when they get older and they start, having their own families, you won't have that same, relationship you had. So I would say enjoy it because it's so quick. What else would I say? Also say, I feel like I was able to be the mom that I've been able to be because of the husband that I had to. So I think it's very important if you have a partner and you all trust each other the same way and feel the same way about your children. Like using raising your children in a united front is, I think, the best way to do it. I feel like the children are secure in that way.
Go ahead. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Now, Sis Aisha, who were some of your favorite teachers at Muhammad University?
My favorite teacher would have to be Brother Shahid.
Okay, okay.
Would have to be Brother Shahid. I remember when we graduated, we all got together as a class and brought him and Brother Brian plaques because, we felt like that about them. Brother Rafai would also be one of my favorite teachers.
Yeah.
Well, who else would I say? I know I'm forgetting somebody, but those three in particular: Brother Brian, Brother Shahid, Brother Rafai.
All praise due to Allah. Excellent, excellent. Now, so I've interviewed Brother Rafai. I've interviewed Brother Shahid. I got to get Brother Brian on the People's Podcast so we can add him.
Yeah, I'll try out to him. He's actually state police now, okay. So I saw him a couple of times down at University of Illinois where my children go to school. He works down there. So.
Okay, great. Well, please give him the greetings. I haven't seen him in years. There's a sister named Naima who says, ASA family, love you and Aisha and you too, Josh. This is her first time watching as well. I think this might be William's mom, sister. Naima, thank you for watching and tuning in to half of the episode of Sis Aisha. Listen, there's a picture of you shaking the hand of the Most Honorable Mr. Sis Farrakhan at an event for all of the alumni. Put on by the alumni for all of the teachers and students who went to Muhammad University of Islam in Chicago. What was that like? And let us know what that night was like.
Okay, that night was like unreal, honestly. It took so much planning and hard work. Shout out to Farah for putting it together. Spearheading the event. It was a lot of work, but it was a lot of fun. The minister was so gracious and so kind that night. He was like, it was unbelievable, the spirit of the whole event. The teachers, we had most of them came back and we had awards for all of them. So it was just so nice to see like Muhammad University 30 years later, like how far it's gone, how far it's come and everything. And we did it as a fundraiser. So to get a new lab for the school and everything. So it was a very successful event.
Praise be to Allah. Yes, ma'am. And Sister Naima says she's not playing with you. All right, I guess she's referring to me. All right, excellent. Now, what we have is, for those who don't know, Sis Aisha has been a panelist on the People's Podcast since its inception 4 years ago on Top 5, and has just been a producer with helping us get some guests behind the scenes. So we want to thank you for that as well. We have a quick commercial break for all of the sponsors of the People's Podcast, and we're coming right back to Sister Aisha. So let us know where you all are watching from and the comments that you have or questions for our dear Sister Aisha Muhammad from Chicago, Illinois. Hold on 1 second. Of course. Here we go. Hold on, Sister Aisha. Of course, I got editing stuff up. Hold on, Aisha. I'm over here editing videos right now. All right, and thank you everyone who was watching all across the country. There we go.
Technical difficulties.
Thank you, Sister Aisha. My God. Right, there we go. Yeah. See, it was only a little hiccup. And so Aisha, we have to talk about your favorite groups, because I know you're gonna mention Jodeci and things of that nature. So here we go. We gotta talk about that. Here we go. This is one of the sponsors, the new sponsors of the People's Podcast for an event coming up in Macon, Georgia, dedicated to Minister Stanley Bettine. There we go. Boom. And there we go. And it's going to play. There we go.
Macon, Georgia is a city rich in musical history. From the soulful sounds of Otis Redding III to the funkadelic grooves of Baten, this town has produced some true legends. On August 6th at 6 p.m., we gather at the historic Douglas Theater to pay tribute to these greats of Macon. It will be a special night as the all-star band takes the stage. Joining forces, the band will perform songs that were dear to Bateen, Jamal Thomas, Otis Redding III, and Tony Bone Dorsey. Tonight, they come together to create pure musical magic. The guitar effortlessly weaving melodic solos that touch your soul. The heartbeat of the rhythm section driving the groove with infectious energy. The all-star band carries on the legacy, echoing with the same raw passion that captivated audiences decades ago. Together, these extraordinary musicians pay homage to Macon's music legends, honoring the legacies that helped put this city on the musical map. This night at the historic Douglas Theater, we celebrate the spirit of Macon and the indelible mark these greats have left on the world of music. Don't miss this once-in-a-lifetime performance.
Perfect. Hold on, Sis
Get
Aisha.
tickets
There
now
we go.
and join us.
We're coming right back to you. Exclusively for you, Black Man by Sister Helen, the Black Man Sacred Book. This is a book of poetry that you can order online at hrspatRol42@gmail.com, as well as Asiatic Minds, a school that teaches STEM virtually. We spoke about Brother Shahid earlier. He teaches mathematics at Asiatic Minds as well. Please enroll your students, virtual school online, asiaticminds.com. 1 second. There we go. Look at this. It's stage you get to see behind the scenes of how we putting this all together. Boom, boom, boom. There we go. And lastly, there we go. Hold on, Sis Aisha. We got one. Sponsorships is popping this month. Hold on.
That's good.
Yes, hold on.
Miriam's ABC I Love Me, children's book and coloring book, and now Spanish book. All three available on Amazon.com. Sister Naima's Stay on Point Dance Academy, LLC. She teaches ballet virtually to young girls all across the country, right here in the studios of Atlanta, Georgia. Brother Kenneth's Bow Tie Maker Extraordinaire. He'll ship you bow ties anywhere across the nation. Dr. Henry Carter's King Henry Turkey Legs, right here in Atlanta, Georgia. Brother Rashad Muhammad's COVID-19 Disinfected Cleaning Services, out of Chicago. Student Minister Sharif Muhammad's book, A Soldier in the Movement of Christ, available on adulsharif.com. And lastly, Brother Joshua Muhammad's book, Cleopatra, as well as No Father, No Excuse.
Thank you all for each sponsor, each like, each share, and each anonymous Cash App. Speaking of books, Sister Miriam says, when are you going to write your parenting book, Sister Aisha?
Oh, wow. I'm humbled because I don't think that I am qualified to do so, but I would not mind sharing my thoughts and my opinions and my experiences with those who would be interested in that. I do not claim to be an expert by any means.
Well, if you know a fruit by the tree it bears, the tree by the fruit it bears, then people all got to do is look at your children, and trust me, people will want to buy your book. Now, speaking of your children, what is the difference in rearing male children versus female children?
Oh, wow. Well, honestly, I would say in my experience, the boys have been a little easier. Only in the sense of with girls in this world, sometimes it's like, you just have different struggles. Like today, my daughter and I were shopping for clothes. With boys, it's so much easier to shop for clothes. It's just simpler, but it's also hard rearing boys too, especially in this climate. I would just say for mothers and daughters, communication is key. And constantly reassuring them of their worth That way, a lot of the pitfalls that you face, especially, like I say, even with clothes and stuff like that, they won't feel like they have to do that in order to be attractive. You know what I mean? Like that. With the boys, I would say teach your son manners, humility, respect for himself, his worth as well. What else would I say as far as being a parent? Like I said, back to what I said in the original statement, enjoy it. I think so many of us don't enjoy it. So if we're not enjoying it, the children are not enjoying it. You know what I mean? So in order to get a certain product, I think you have to enjoy it and have patience.
Excellent. And Sister Miriam says you are more qualified than them. Okay, Sister Miriam, gotta hop off a little bit. All right, now listen, Sister Aisha, I wanted to know, how do you, as a woman, a lot of the women who I've interviewed talk about losing themselves or not losing themselves in marriage and or having children. How do you stay, like, keep your identity? What's the keys? Break it down to us.
I think the key to keeping your identity is having time to yourself. Like I enjoy my children, I enjoy my family, but I also enjoy the time I have with just me, so that I can watch things I like, I can read things I like, I can not completely be a person that only watches Channel 11 or only whatever my husband's interested in. Most people would say sports, but I like sports, so that's a little different for me. But you know, just not, your identity can't be wrapped up into what everybody else likes. Like I said, I like being at home by myself. Sometimes I'll just make something that I want to eat. You know, some stuff, simplest stuff like that. Like, try to remember what you like, order what you like, watch what you like, read what you like, so that you can stay true to yourself throughout your life. Because if you don't, I think you'll have a lot of resentment and regrets.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. All right. The time period that you were at the march, rebuilding of the nation and Muhammad University of Islam, the Million Man March, what was that like being a young woman during that time period? Seeing the brothers get ready to go, and how did it impact you as a woman?
It was absolutely probably the most beautiful thing I've really ever seen. And like to be a part of it. Like at the time we did lunches for the brothers that were traveling. And so we were a part of it, even though we didn't go. And like we watched it on TV the whole time, and it was just fun to see like a lot of people that you knew. And I mean, it was just a beautiful event, honestly. Probably the most beautiful thing I had seen to date at that time. My husband was there. He had just registered and everything, so he was excited, and he was on post and stuff. So it was exciting. It really was. It was such an exciting time. It was really, you know.
Excellent. Okay, and I love how you just said that. All this is because my husband was there, for the record. Okay, that's beautiful.
We weren't married yet, but he was there.
Okay. He was there. That's good. I'm sure the Million March helped inspire him to be even more responsible than he already was. Absolutely. Okay. I wanted to ask you, what was it like knowing my mom's, from your standpoint, being closer in age with her, like y'all went to school together and stuff like that. So what was it like knowing my mom? What was it like knowing my mother?
She was somebody extremely special, somebody that inspired me actually as an MGT. She was our dean when I was in high school.
Okay.
And she was our dean when I was in high school, and she was an advocate for us. She wasn't like lenient, but she was an advocate. So it wasn't ruling. She advocated for us when others felt like, they don't need to be, she wanted us to have fun. She wanted us to have a cute uniform. For sure. And like I said, she was inspiring to me. She's one of the reasons why I wanted to be MGT. She had babies. She had a husband. She still looked nice. She dressed nice. She was well versed in the teachings. I looked up to her a lot.
Praise be to God. Look at that. Well, you should have told her to advocate for me instead of all that beating I was getting. She should be she advocate for y'all. She should be advocate for me.
It was for the sisters, bro. Sisters before misters. No.
That's funny. Okay. Okay. So I never knew that my mom's, was a dean at M.U.I. I didn't help to advocate the sisters. I never knew that. Oh, Sister Mary, Mrs. Naima saying all praises to a while. Wonderful. Okay, now Sister Aisha. I know usually when we ask this on top 5, like about your music, you always talk about the stylistics and all, that time period. But what is your favorite album of all time?
Oh my God, of all time, Josh. I don't know of all time. Man, that's pretty hard. Favorite album of all time. If I have to pick, I would have to say Thriller. If I have to pick.
Okay.
I would say Thriller. I
mean, why Thriller above? I just knew you was gonna say Jodeci or Mary J. Blige, who you have on the shirt.
I mean, Thriller is like the greatest R&B album like ever. I mean, it's a masterpiece. It's like nothing else has come close to it, honestly. From the production to the singing to the writing to the videos. I mean, it's like, yeah, it's unmatched.
Amazing. I mean, you can't go wrong with Thriller. Thriller is one of the greatest albums ever, like for sure. And Sister Miriam is accusing me of being bad when I was younger. Okay, definitely.
Very.
Okay, well. Now as a parent, when you go back and to Muhammad University and you all have chess clubs and swim teams, all the stuff that we didn't have growing up at M.U.I.
Right.
What was it that made you want to even take the Muhammad University parenting to the next level? What was it about that? What was that like?
Me and my husband both went there and we both graduated from Muhammad University. So we wanted to give back. And when our children were there, a lot of things that we didn't have at Muhammad University was because it was so new. And in its inception, people were trying to figure out what was best, and I feel like while us being there, understanding it, when things evolve, you want to evolve, you want to be a part of it. So we try to give our children the same experiences you would get at, say, a Catholic school or any other public school. We didn't want them to miss out on those things. And with us having small numbers, it's actually easier to do those things and do them the way we would want to do them versus how other schools would do them. So when my children were there, we made sure they had different activities. My son was on a basketball team, volleyball team, chess team. My girls on the dance team. Like they did everything. So, and the parents facilitated it. So it was a really special time, actually.
Praise be to Allah. Yes, ma'am. And I hope your children know how grateful they are. Because when I went to Miami Grace Islam, was only one team, the drill team. There's only one team you're gonna be on. Yeah. That's the drill team.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad that they enjoyed that. All right, perfect. And I have one more question for you. Well, 2 more questions for you.
Okay.
You didn't speak about your mother, who is such a phenomenal woman. What was it like being raised by, just
my mom,
the queen of all queens?
My mom was like so pro-Black. Like we grew up, like if we got a coloring book and the face was white, we had to paint it black. Like that's how we grew up. I grew up like that. Fight the Power, BDP. It was all like Black power. That's just how we grew up. Like we were gonna love being Black if we wanted to or not. You know what I mean? So I do credit my mom. My mom brought us to the mosque and to the minister and the teachings and everything because she was that like ahead of her time and so pro-Black to the point where people thought we were weird. But I appreciate that now.
Okay, well, Sis Aisha, we often speak about the love that we both have for being, mutants and X-Men and things like that. Because you mentioned weird, you mentioned the uniforms that you had to wear. Many for the brothers, we would take our bow tie off when we would leave the property. try to unbutton our shirt, you know what I'm saying? Try to do something to be like as regular as we could, and then, snap back into it. How can we encourage the younger generation to be more proud to be the standouts, the gods, the mutants? What can we do to encourage them more that it's okay to be, unique?
Well, I mean, I think it's different now because like smart is the new swag now. Like, smart, in order to be competitive in this world, you do have to be civilized, you have to be smart, you have to be focused. Our teachings are actually something of value, it's very valuable, and it will separate us from other people. You know what I mean? Like it'll get us where we need to be. Like everybody's doing it now. Oh, intermittent fasting or this and that. And the way we teach our children and stuff, like our way has become so much more mainstream now, even though we don't get credit for it. So I would just try to encourage them to understand the value of what they've been given their entire lives. And I think over time, as they mature, they'll get it. They might not at 7, but at 17, you'll see it differently. At 27, it'll be completely different.
Yep. Praise be to. Go ahead and teach us. Yes, ma'am. And this is a question I also ask many of the sisters and brothers both who speak very well on the podcast. Will you ever go into the ministry?
Oh God, ministry? Nah, I don't think that's my lane per se. But I mean, never say never. I mean, it's a lot of things I've done that I never saw myself doing. So I would never say never. But as of right now, I don't see that path for me.
I'm just saying, you're very, very cool, Minister Ishmael, and it's not that hard. But I could easily see you, somebody be like, "Yo, get Sis Aisha. She's going to go up and be speaking, or teaching an NGT class or something."
No,
Sis Aisha, you know what I'm saying?
I'm not a very public speaking person like that. But like I said, I won't say never. Sometimes you just get a calling,
And people in the comments are saying this is the most civilized and calm that we've ever seen Sis Aisha, because usually on top 5 she's looking more ratchet. Yes, I agree. Absolutely. Listen, Sis Aisha, I had the honor of eating dinner at your home during Savior's Day, this past Savior's Day. It was some of the best food that Uncle Ronnie ever put together.
Oh, what?
I'm just saying, it was amazing. What advice would you give to those who want to learn how to cook better? Because you're all about cooking shows and all of that. So if somebody, let's say there's a sister who's interested in perhaps Brother Joshua, and she's like, Josh is all about food and he needs to expand his palate. What cooking shows and or advice could you tell her to expand her cooking? You know what I'm saying?
Well, because I love cooking shows. I would say if you're a novice, you could watch like The Kitchen on Food Network or Drummond's show. It's like home cooks. Anybody can cook. It's not difficult. I think we get intimidated by a recipe and things like that. But I think if you watch like The Kitchen or like I said, Drummond's show, it becomes less daunting to you because she's a home cook, and they have home cooks on The Kitchen, and they make everyday meals. Not necessarily 5-star meals, just everyday meals for like a regular family.
Excellent. And I just want to give you all context to the cooking of 5-star versus home. Like today, I didn't eat fully yet, so after this interview, I'm going to go get probably some nutritious food. From I'm probably going to know me. I'm going to cook something together. But Sis Aisha said she just got finished throwing something together. And Sis Aisha, could you let us know what throwing something together sounds like for you and your family?
I made some salmon.
Okay.
Barbecue chicken.
Okay.
Some baked potatoes and some corn tonight.
And that's just thrown together.
Yeah, it was very simple. It was very, very simple. Yes.
Okay. Listen, if that's what's thrown together, is what I'm saying, this is teachings about Prophet Muhammad. And Sister Miriam says, yeah, right. I eat good food for the record. I don't know everybody trying to make it seem like I only eat, you know.
Get some nutritious hush puppies.
Why do you have to bring up hush puppies? Hush puppies. Nobody mentioned hush puppies. Thank you. And Sister Naima said, go ahead, MGT. Beautiful. Lastly, Sister Aisha, what would you, people, I always got to ask this question because we see each other, from different angles, but I want to know how you want people to perceive you. What would you like your legacy to be, ma'am?
I would like for people to think that I treated people with respect and kindness. I feel like that's free. And I would want to go down as someone who, was a good wife and mother. I give 100% on both. So I would like for that to be my legacy. And I would like to, be looked at as, like I said, a good friend, like a good person. More so than anything. Because like I said, it's free. It doesn't. Being rude, and I never want to be considered a rude, nasty person. What else do I want to be? I don't know. I got to think about that. That's a good question, actually. I've never really thought about it, but right now I'm gonna leave it there.
Okay. Now, when you said that's a good question, actually, as if the other questions weren't as good, with that last actually, what do you mean by that? Like, it was a good question, actually. So you're saying all the questions were amazing today is what you're saying. That's right. Bring it in.
But oh, you're so humble, Brother Joshua.
Listen, okay, also, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia is one of our favorite shows. But besides that, what else? His name says bye, Josh. What other, give us one of your favorite TV shows that you enjoy watching currently, because I know you're going to say Martin, but currently.
No, I'm going to say, I love Curb Your Enthusiasm. It's one of my favorite shows of all time. Modern Family. Of course, The Cosbys.
Okay.
Favorite shows. Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones. Can't go wrong with Game of Thrones.
I love period pieces, period. So I like that. I like Outlander. I like stuff like that. And of course, whatever. Shows that's currently on right now. What am I watching right now? I just watched Sweet Magnolias, which was good.
My goodness, this y'all would never notice. This is the grew up in Chicago. Like, I just watched Game of Thrones, Sweet Magnolias, and I'm making salmon and barbecue chicken and stuff. Like what is going? Like, what is happening right there?
My city no bad rap.
I'm just saying. Most people thought you would say The Shy, or you were listening to, Lil Durk or something. So we don't know. So
watching
you have range.
Baseball currently. Yeah. What you talking about? The Shy? I've never watched.
I'm saying you in Chicago. Who in Chicago ain't gonna watch The Shy? Like, I'm saying.
Shy doesn't seem interesting to me, but I watch Snowfall. Yeah, is that ghetto enough for you?
No, I wouldn't say ghetto, more urban, because you love that word. You know what I'm saying? Sister Miriam says she's watching Sweet Magnolias now. It's good. Jesus Christ. I don't know.
It's so good.
Some of the nerdiness that I'm seeing on my timeline today. All right. Well, I don't know what y'all would say about Sweet Magnolias. All right. I want to thank you, Sis Aisha, on behalf of myself, my family, and the viewing audience of the People's Podcast, for your sacrifice and the sacrifices of your family to help establish Islam at Muhammad University on the South Side, produce 7 brilliant children, and just be a shining light of what, Allah has made with His creation. So we thank Allah for you and your family holding it down. Thank Uncle Ronnie for always being kind to us and being a strong, positive role model since I knew him working at the bakery to now having all kind of careers and firefighting, electrician, all kind of stuff, and just being a strong Black man in America. So we thank Allah for him as well. Boom. Oh, there's one more show. How do you pronounce that show? Because Sister Aisha's very, she likes to be very bourgeois with her pronouncing of the show. The Abbey Show. How do you pronounce that? Just because people may not know how to pronounce it.
You know what? Downton Abbey, not Downtown Abbey. Okay? I like that show too.
I'm just saying, how many people knew they're supposed to be Downton Abbey? You know what I'm saying? As opposed to
that's the name of the of the house that they're in.
I'm just saying, you made it seem like it's common knowledge. A lot of people didn't know that. So we give y'all some supreme mathematics right now. We give y'all some supreme wisdom if y'all didn't know how to pronounce that.
Downtown Abbey.
That's how it looks. That's exactly how it looks.
Oh, you know what? You know what was really good too? Right now, Platonic. Platonic is really good.
Okay, I'll write it down.
It's really funny. It's Seth Rogen and what's her name? Rose Byrne. Yeah, it's really. And
Sister Naima says she never knew exactly. Most people don't know that that's the correct pronunciation, but that's why Sis Aisha likes to do that kind of stuff. She just randomly gives that. Anyway, this is Joshua Leonard Muhammad signing off for the People's Podcast. Assalamu alaikum.
Well,
Man, I'm sorry for season. All right, thank you all for watching. Can't wait to put this on YouTube.